Free socks.
This is the emergency broadcast system. This is not a test. Repeat, this is not a test. Stay tuned for further instructions.
All personnel, report to the nearest tornado shelter.
No cop! No KKK! No fascist USA! No cop! We ain't here for this, ain't nothing. This is not a valid protest, man.
Good evening, everyone. Can you guys hear me, or is there an echo? See if we can get some 5x5s, or no, Fernando, there's an echo. I always like to make sure we don't have an echo. Small echo. All right. Now, can you guys hear me now? Do we have a 5x5? Hopefully we have a 5x5. I see movement on my end. I just need confirmation from you guys to see where we are. All right. Thank you, Salt Mist, for that 5x5. Beautiful. Awesome. Okay, good. Awesome. Awesome. Sounds good. All right, rats. All right, got you. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Awesome. Okay. Welcome. 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 I want to welcome all of you to tonight's Warrior Roundtable Live. I am Fernando, God's Prepared Warrior, and I am excited that you are here with all of us. Yes, I see you guys. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Pinballs Live ran late. Yes, I was there too. I was there too with you guys. I always kind of duck out about 8:45 my time here in Central Texas to be ready for the 9 o'clock. So yeah, technical difficulties all around. Hi Shelly, good evening. Iram, I think that's how you pronounce that. I see you there. I see you there. All right. Good. Awesome. So I am so glad all of you are here today. I've been anticipating this live all of this week because this week I knew what we were going to talk about, and I just couldn't wait to get to today because, you know, I'm all about keeping you guys informed and, you know, taking situations that we find where we live and how can we prep for those things, not only practically, but how can we do that spiritually. And so I am super excited that all of you guys are here. Prepping place with Shauna. Thank you for being here. I'm glad you're here. Awesome. So let's get on with tonight. So I'm glad you guys made it today. There's a few of you who are new to the channel, and I'm glad you guys are here tonight as well. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And I would love for you guys to comment and give me feedback, because that's how we all learn. I am not a YouTube expert, nor do I claim to be, but I love to help people learn and grow, and that's what this channel is all about. So welcome to the Roundtable Live for tonight. You've made it, and we're all here together. So it's been a pretty eventful week here in the United States. I mean, it's been really eventful, and so I just want to jump into some major things tonight. I want to talk about these things, and I definitely want to hear you guys and what you're saying. So if you have a question for me on anything that I'm talking about, in the comments, make sure that you have all caps so that I know you're asking me a question when we come time to just kind of talk. But I want to jump into these things that I want to share with you tonight. Number one, I'm going to show you a video first, and then after the video we'll come back and we'll talk about it. All right, so here's the video.
Police officers, they're patrolling areas of suspected gang activity, and that includes this apartment building. This is the one at Dallas Street and 12th Avenue, where Venezuelan gang members have been caught on camera with guns breaking national attention this week. We have been reporting on this at the local level for weeks, but police now say they're there as well, engaging with residents.
To just really ask the specific questions, the direct questions in terms of the gang activity and who's actually making sure that people aren't paying rent to gang leaders or gang members. That they talking to so many residents that that's not the case.
Well, that's the interim police chief you just heard from. Well, the saga surrounding this video has now become part of even the presidential campaigns. Both of the top ticket candidates.
All right. Well, that didn't work like I wanted to. Anyway, it was the video on the Venezuelan gangs and how they've taken over the apartment. I actually found a news feed on there, and actually the interim chief of police talking about how they have gone around the apartment complex there. So it is a bad thing to see that happening in Aurora, Colorado. So anyway, the gangs have taken control of this apartment complex the other day, and I think the situation has escalated, making residents feel unsafe in their homes, right? I mean, think about this for a moment, because I always, if you follow my social media, you will always see me ask, what would you do in this situation? I know that these people feel unsafe because all of this was captured on Ring cameras, and they were saying, oh no, that's not happening, but yeah, it was actually happening. So so it makes residents feel unsafe in their own homes. I mean, that would make me feel unsafe. Um, you know, so I just can't even to me. So these gangs, they're not just operating overseas anymore, right? They're not just in South America anymore. They are here in the United States because the gates were left open and the enemy was allowed to come in, and this is the fruit of that happening. Um, so this is just like it's a stark reminder of how quickly things can break down in our communities um, that we perceive are safe, right? Um, these gangs aren't just operating overseas anymore. They are now here where we are. And so I live in the state of Texas, and uh, that is not too far from here. Well, technically, if you're in Texas, it's pretty far because it takes forever to get out of here. But um, it's pretty close, right? So how do we prepare for this? This is what I'm always going to ask. How do we prepare for this? Well, I think it's important for us to be aware of our surroundings. We should know, and if you look at that video, not a lot of people know, but if you didn't order a package, a delivery person should not be at your door. Think about this for a second, because their whole getup was to look like Amazon drivers, yet they didn't have an Amazon uniform, but they had the reflective vest, I guess, to kind of throw you off. But needless to say, if you did not order from Amazon, there should not be anyone dressed like Amazon or pretending to be dressed like Amazon knocking at your door. And so, in your home, if you carry some boomsticks, right, then they should be on your person all the time, right, in your home, because this is your castle, right? So we need to be aware of our surroundings, even when we have a knock at the door or the doorbell rings. And if you have a Ring camera, look at that video feed before you ever open the door. And I wouldn't open it if somebody is closing the peep or the camera, for that matter. I wouldn't open it. And if you can look out your windows, I would be careful about that. And you still can't see them, but the thing keeps going off, I would call the police. Because if you open that door, just like in that video, they will take over. So we need to be aware of our surroundings. When I take my dog out to the front yard, I look up and down the street. I scan the area, and I'm ready to go at any moment. So we should be aware of our surroundings. We need to like-minded neighbors. If you live in the city, if you live in the suburbs, if you even live out in the country, right? You should be building a network of like-minded neighbors who will keep each other in communication. You can rely on those individuals in times of trouble, and they can be very valuable to you. So create those bonds, and make sure that all of you are taking care of each other. Now, what do we do spiritually in this aspect? Well, we need to put our trust in God's protection, right? It's God who takes care of us, right? Over our homes and over our families, right? Huge. He is a place of safety for me. He is my God, and I trust him. But remember, faith without works is dead. So while we trust God, we also take action to protect and to prepare. So this is happening, right? We should stay vigilant to these things happening, because I've been saying, right? I've been saying, if it's happening in Europe, if it's happening in Venezuela, guess what? It's eventually going to happen here. I've been saying that. And guess what? It's here already, right? So it's important for all of us, wherever we go, to make sure we know who's around us, what's happening around us, and you don't want to be caught off guard. I'm not saying live in fear. I'm saying live aware in whatever aspect, right? If it's to move out the way, if it's to run, if it's to defend, you should be ready in those times. So it's important for all of us to really stay prepared and to know what is happening around us. Let's see what you guys have to say. In front of my house, I can look up and down in the front, and am installing the second one in the back that looks down the drive as well. That's good. That's good. I also have a security system for my home that gives me full access of the front of my house and the street. And I love the system that I have because I can zoom in and see closer. So yes, cameras are important, and it is good to have those things available. Thank you, Salt Mist, for sharing that. The other thing I want to talk about today is the rapid decline of the US dollar. This is important because there are so many businesses that are closing down, right? We've heard of Dollar General, Dollar Tree, 99-cent store. This company is beginning to shut down stores. It has come out last week that that other places are shutting down their stores. I can't remember the name of the other one. It's another big one. It's down the road from my house, and my wife loves to go shopping there. They're going to be actually, I think they're actually filing for Chapter 13. So yeah. So a lot of things are happening in our financial economy, right? So the dollar is declining, right? And it's happening at a rapid pace, and a lot of people are feeling it, right? Inflation is high, right? It's still rising. It's expensive to go to the grocery store. It's becoming expensive to put gas in your car. Things are just, restaurants have become more expensive. I've seen in the times that we've gone has changed. And so the US continues, the US dollar continues to decline, and everyone is feeling it in the pocketbook. Inflation is still rises. Prices are increasing everywhere. It's not just in certain areas. It's in everything that prices are increasing, and it's a real concern. One of the having a full tank of gas, and when it gets down to half, fill it back up, because you never know what's going to happen. So you want a full tank of gas, but then at the same time, you don't want to be spending a lot of money to fill a full tank of gas, right? Because if everything continues to skyrocket, it's going to get more expensive and more expensive. So if you can get into the habit of saying that half a tank is empty, I know it's not, but this is how I think in my head. If half a tank is empty, I need to refill, so that way I have a full tank the majority of the time that I use my vehicle. So, prices are rising everywhere, and it's all of this is potential for financial collapse. I'm not a financial person. I'm not a banker. I'm not an accountant. So I'm only going on what leaves my hand, right? What leaves our hand, me and my wife. And so we have to be frugal. Sometimes I'm not frugal, so she takes that away from me. We have to work on making sure that we know where every dollar is being spent and stuff. So we've seen this hyper inflation has, devastated countries, like Venezuela. I mean, just for example, they've crumbled, right? And it's crucial to realize that America is not immune to that kind of a crisis. And so, I mean, we can go all the way back to when the dollar was taken off the gold standard, in the 70s. I mean, it was just been a progressive thing to lead us to where we are. So how do we prepare for that? We should start by diversifying our assets. We should stock up on things, right? It's important to stock up on things. If you're a prepper, you're stocking up, right? Not in a sense of hoarding, but preparing for something, right? If it's the economic collapse, you're preparing for that, right? So stock up on non-perishable food. Definitely stock up on water. I think we really don't take for granted, or we take for granted water. I just was in a conversation with my boss this week, and I asked him, I go, what do you think? And he's like, well, I think people aren't ready when it have water available to us, not just from the sink, but to the toilet. I mean, hose outside. We have access to water, so we have to stock up on water. You can't just, say, well, I got a ton of water bottles in the garage. That's good, but what is that sustainability like, right? So we got to look at that. We have to make sure we're stocking up on those things and essential supplies. I mean, we just need supplies, right? You need things. Today, one of the things I was prepping today was I was sharpening my axes. But you might say, well, Fernando, that's not prepping. Yes, it is, because in the event that I need to go cut wood, and I do actually, all of my tools for that should be ready to go. Just like all of my boomsticks are ready to go, my axe should be sharp and ready to go. So, prepping is not just about the rice and the beans and the bullets. It's in everything, almost everything that we do, right? So we got to be doing those things. We got to be preparing. We need to learn basic survival skills. Since COVID, that I have gone camping, right? So I'm on this camp. It's not even a camping bug. It is, Fernando, can you survive outside without your house? And so, last year I went on several trips. We went on one early this year, and then in November I'm going on another trip. And so, but each time I have taken less things to prove to myself that Fernando can survive, right? With limited things. So it's almost like I am weaning myself off of this, right? Preparing for, in the event I need to bug out, I know that I can because, hey, I went on a camping trip last year and we went out there for 3 days, 2 nights. And, I experienced different levels of temperature, right? I went early this November. Well, it's not really winter here in Texas in November, but it's close to it because it's not boiling hot. So we have to learn basic survival skills, and it's important to do those things, right? We should consider holding some assets in hard forms, right? Like silver, like to pay for things when this system falls apart, right? They hold value, and that value will always stay. So if you are watching how much gold is, it's going up, and it continues to go up because of the financial decline that we find ourselves in. So that's how we would do that. That's how we would prep for that. How do we do that spiritually? This is the time to learn God's provision, right? Philippians 4:19 tells us that, and this same God who takes care of me will supply all your needs from his glorious riches, which have been given to us in Christ Jesus. Paul is telling us here in this verse that this same God who takes care of him, he's telling the people of the Philippian people, he's telling them, this same God that takes care of me can also take care of you. He can provide for you, right, from his glorious riches. And so I, reading this, understand that, and I want to tell you that it is time for us to trust that God will provide for his people. Even in a time of collapse, God will provide for his people, even in times of financial uncertainty. So that's important to understand, that we should be prepping in that way, not just physically for that situation specifically, but spiritually as well, knowing that God is our provider, and even in those times for us. So it's so important for us to be prepping, not just physically, but also spiritually, for those times. Here's another thing. I want to show you this picture here. Let's see if this is going to work. It should work. Let's see. All of you to be thinking about those folks who are in those locations that are having to can't forget these wildfires, and I know they don't always share them on the news, but they're happening, right? They continue to sweep across the West Coast, and every year it feels like these fires are getting worse, right? I think this year, if not last year, these wildfires not too long ago in the northern part of Texas, and so these things are getting worse. They're destroying homes, they're destroying entire ecosystems. So families are evacuating, and we're seeing the effects of climate change, right? Mismanagement and natural disasters, all contributing to are coming up, and they are coming our way, right? I think there's it. So I just need to bring back my ticker. But we need to be praying for these folks, these people that are in these situations, and just asking God to be with them. How do we prepare for that? Well, you need to be informed, right? It's like I said to myself today. Let's look at these fires, and when I pulled up that map, I was like, wow, that is a lot of fires, and I can't even imagine the poor people that are fighting it, the people that are living through that, having to escape their homes. And so, today I was praying for those folks. So we need to be informed, stay informed on top of that. And if it's definitely hitting in your area, you really need to be informed on that, taking measures to secure your home. I know that a lot of people will go out and they will water their grass and their trees and to stop the fire. I'm not really sure how good that is, but I've never experienced that myself. So, I know that these folks have done it in the past before. So just keep these people in mind. We need to stay informed. We should have an evacuation plan set up, right, on how we're going to get out. And you should have several plans, right? Because you don't know, the fire doesn't always start in the same place, right? So you should have several ways to be able to get out. You need to have that evacuation plan. You need to tell your family about that plan. They need to know that plan looks like. You should have it on a map, right? Share these maps with your family. You should be able to map these evacuation plans out. So in case plan A to B doesn't work, you have plan C, D, E, and F if need be, to be able to meet up to where you're supposed to meet up, right? So those are important. It's important to keep your emergency supplies. If you are evacuating in your vehicle, you should have vehicle preps, right? Yeah, you should have a jack in there to change your tire. Yeah, you should have other things, but you still need water in your vehicle. You still need all of those things. I would definitely keep food in there, a blanket in there, all those things, because you never know. You never know when your car is going to break down, what time of the day it's going to break down, or what time of the year that it's going to break down, that you're going to need to pull some things from your trunk, maybe from the back seat, wherever you want to keep that stuff, and be able to utilize that in an emergency event. So it's important to keep emergency supplies in your car, along with, as you leave the house, grab your go bag, and you have all of those supplies at the ready, right? Preparation is so important when it comes to emergencies like this, right? So it's important to have those things. If you live in a fire prone area, know your routes, because the counties around there should have evacuation plans, at the ready. But like I said, major roads are going to be congested, so make sure you make plans for that. And take your go bag with you, and be ready for that. Spiritually, how do we prepare for that? We must remember that even in the midst of the flames, because we're talking about fires, right? God is with us. And I love what Isaiah 43:2 says. It says, when you go through the deep waters, I will be with you. When you go through the rivers of difficulty, you will not drown. When you walk through the fire of oppression, you will not be burned up. The flames will not consume you. God's protection, guys, listen. God's protection is always there. But we must be prepared. We got to do our part, right? God will protect us, but we must do our part of preparedness, right? In both body and in spirit. So that's very important for us to have and for us to be doing. So I want to encourage you of that. Just be praying for those folks. It's a big thing. It's devastating for those folks who have to leave everything behind and only take what you can, because I know that's what they're being told. And so I can't even imagine that, and how they're praying that God will protect their home, and hoping that when they get back, their home is still there. So there are people that go back to their home, and I will tell you, there are people who go back and there is no home and no things, and so the only thing they left with was a few things that they took with them. So it's important for us to prepare for situations like that. So if you live in a fire-prone area, you need to make sure you're doing that. If you live in a hurricane-prone area, you need to be prepping for that. If you live in tornado-prone areas, you need to be preparing for that. So it's important. If you live in an area where it rains, and when it rains just so dry that the ground cannot even soak up the water fast enough that it floods in the streets, and so it causes accidents. And we just got to be prepared all the way around for all the things that are happening. Shelly says, and Stanley, thank you for sharing that, Shelly. Yeah, it's important to pray for folks that are going through those things. Terry Hardaway, welcome to the channel, Terry. Terry says Romans 8:35 through 39. That's an important part of Scripture too. Thank you for sharing that. So yeah, so we have to really prepare for those things that are so important. All right, the next thing I want to the pro-Palestinian protests in major cities. We've seen this happening a lot in America, and you know, it actually happened here in San Antonio not too long ago. As I was driving to work one day along 1604, there was a protest right at close to the I-10 exit. All of the students from UTSA were there. There was a bunch of students there protesting. There was a large police presence there, but there was just a protest. There was nothing, you know, crazy like we've seen in the news in other cities. But across the U.S., you know, we've seen these waves of pro-Palestinian protesters damage property, damage historical property, which really hurt my heart when I saw that. You know, it was pretty bad, right? Regardless of, you know, our stance on the issue, it's clear that tensions are rising both internationally and domestically, and so we're starting to see that now. Is it the left using all the people that have come in to do that? Could be, right? I've seen a lot of people get paid to do crazy things. So, you know, yeah, I'll just leave it there. Leave it for your flashes and civil unrest in various cities, right? So how do we prepare for that? As God's prepared warriors, this is just another wake-up call for us, right? I will always go back to look what's happening in Venezuela. Look what's happening across the pond in UK. Those things will eventually come here, and guess what? They're here, right? It's a wake-up call for us, right? Urban environments are becoming flashpoints, right? And I will tell you, because I live in an urban environment, and all of a sudden things can go left, and because of all of the people in that city, there's a lot of people, right? So just to give you, if you want to check it out, look up San Antonio, Texas. How many people live in San Antonio? And you will say a prayer for me and my family. And you know, it's going to be really difficult because of all the people that live not just in the city but in the surrounding areas. So, you know, our environments are becoming flashpoints for civil unrest, and we need to be prepared. Just like these Venezuelan gangs that are coming, making things happen over there. I mean, it's about to hit the fan, right? So we need to be prepared, right? And if you live in the city, know where those exit routes are, right? If you know, I've been talking to a few of my family members, and we've been talking about if we are going I-10 West to where I have a friend, right? If we're going that way, we have to know that that major road is going to be congested. If we go 35 north, congested. If we go 90 east, it's going to be congested. If we go 410 north or south, 281 north or south, it will be sure that you are prepared. You know where those routes are. You know, go to your city websites. If you live in a major city, your city has protocols, right? San Antonio has a lot of protocols. They have, I think the only protocol that is blank is nuclear protocol, because this is just a blast area. I'm just saying. But yeah, but most of your major cities will have evacuation points. It'll have routes, but be aware, everybody's reading that website, and everybody might take that same route. So you're going to have to make plans to take a different route. So look at those exit routes. Have a bug out bag ready. Oh my goodness, I cannot express that enough. Have that thing ready to go, because that's going to be your sustainability, right? As far as food, water, and how to do those things. So make sure, guys, that you have that ready. Make sure you're working out on those things. If you need a list, you know, shoot me an email, right? Email me at God's Prepared Warrior. A get home bag list, I'll send you that list. You know, whatever. Send me an email and I will answer you. If you follow me on all my socials, you can reach out to me on those also. So make sure that you have those things ready. You have your plan in place. Everybody in your family knows that plan. And you know, if they, okay, I'm crazy, but I know in the back of my mind I'm not crazy, right? So, you know, prepare your family, whether they want you to or not. Love on them, pray for them, encourage them, and just kind of show them, look at these things that are happening around us. And, you know, I know you don't believe me, but look at these things. What would you do if that happened here? That's all I ask everybody. So, you know, I always say, what are you prepping this weekend, right? So think about that. How do we prep spiritually for that? Well, we must pray for peace. I can't, man. You know, I think that if I do anything well in my walk with God, is that Him and I communicate a lot, right? Because I know that in my life I need Him every moment of the day. It's me, and it's my request, because the majority of the time I'm not praying for myself. I'm actually praying for others. But there are times that, you know, I pray for myself, but, you know, I have this relationship with God, and we talk a lot. So we must pray for peace, right? If we're going to do anything, we need to pray for peace. You know, I'm getting tired. I don't know about you, but I'm getting tired of seeing people fighting against each other. We are the United States of America, not the divided states, but it seems like we are the divided states of America. And, you know, if I can do anything, I'm going to pray for peace. And I hope that you are doing the same, right? We have to pray for peace. 1 Timothy chapter 2, verses 1 and 2 says, I urge you, first of all, to pray for all people. We got to pray for everyone. On behalf, right? I'm always praying for people. And give thanks for them, right? Thank God for that person that you're praying for. You know, you might say, but Fernando, they are my enemy. Pray for them. Why wouldn't you pray for them, right? Well, they won't pray for me. Well, that's okay. You're going to pray for them, right? You pray for them, because God is asking us to intercede for in their behalf and give thanks for them, right? It goes on and it says, pray this way for kings and all who are in authority, so that we can live peaceful and quiet lives marked with godliness and dignity. Man, oh man, do I pray for our government leaders. Yeah, they don't know me from Adam, but I am praying for them. I am praying for those that really need a touch from God, right? So we got to pray for our leaders. We got to pray for them. It's so important. You know, our prayer with our request. Be vigilant to the things that are happening in our world, because they are happening at a rapid pace, and I cannot say it enough that we have to be ready. So, guys, I hope that you are ready. I hope that you are not just prepping physically, but you're prepping spiritually even more at that time. So, guys, I just I cannot. So yeah. So guys, thank you. I just want to thank you guys for joining us tonight. For being on here on this channel. Thank you for being with us tonight. I see Patty. Let me put on my eyeballs real quick. I see Patty here. She's talking with Salt Miss. Awesome. I'm glad you're here, Patty. I hope you you guys were encouraged today. That's what this channel is all about. I see D. Floyd. I see you in here. Yes, you're welcome. I love bringing this space open for you guys to come in and talk. And so just check out the links in the description below. You can also check out all of my videos, and in all of my videos I have links to all of my social media where you guys can follow me on X, on I was gonna say Twitter, same thing. On X, on TikTok, on Facebook. I'm really heavy on Facebook and TikTok and YouTube. And Rumble is growing for me. I am also in Rumble. I take all this stuff and put it over there. And so I am glad you guys are here with me. Check out all of those links. Look at the videos from the past. Like and subscribe to the channel. Share those videos with your family. If you go to my TikTok page, don't be afraid. I just share the news, and I use a really loud sound in the background that makes it, hey, this is alarming. But just this is why I say you got to stay vigilant, right? So I'm gonna keep you guys informed over there on TikTok. I did talk to the people of the group that I'm a part of, and so we are looking forward to bringing them on the channel and actually having a live chat with them soon. And they're gonna talk to you guys all about the movement that I'm a part of, and that I'm so glad to be a part of, and share that with you guys. And so I am scheduling that here soon. I am just trying to figure out how we're gonna do that on the platform, and how we can bring all of these folks in at one time so that you can hear them talk and share their experience and all of that stuff. So that is coming up. I'm excited about that. I'm wanting to set up some interviews with other prepper channels, because I believe that we should be united in this, in this space, and that what I have learned from the guys and gals that I follow on YouTube, I want to be able to share them with you, because I've learned a lot from them since I've started, since 2020. So I just want to let you guys know that that's coming up. The website is coming up soon. I've been working on that, and so that will eventually go live, and you will see a lot of neat and new things in there. And so I'm excited about that. Our live family is growing, so that is really awesome. I'm so glad for you guys being here, and I'm glad to see you guys here. So with all of that said, guys, I want you to know that I'm praying for you, and I want you to know that God is with you wherever you go, and no matter what happens, It doesn't take God by surprise. It may take us by surprise, but it doesn't take God by surprise. And we should have our faith in Him, even if that thing happens. We should all the more trust God. So, trust in the Lord with all of your heart. Lean not on your own understanding, but in all of your ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your steps. That's Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 and 6. Guys, thank you for joining me tonight, and I hope to see you on our next Roundtable Live next Saturday. Bring some friends with you. It's going to be a good time. I'm going to be in a different place next Saturday, so I just might come live where I am. I don't know. I still have to have permission where I'm going to be. So if not, I will upload a pre-recorded video of me that day. Or I just might go live from the car. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. But next week is going to be pretty cool. So bring friends with you, and remember, stay vigilant, stay prepared, and God is our mighty